King of the Hill satirized small-town American life through the steady eyes of Hank Hill and his family in Arlen, Texas. By season 7, the show had earned a reputation for its gentle humor and sharp social insight. Racist Dawg pushed that balance further, casting Bernie Mac, a comedian known for his unfiltered honesty on race, as Mac the Repairman was no accident. The episode, like Traffic Jam before it, quietly tackled themes of white guilt and racial identity under the surface of everyday awkwardness. What seemed like a comedy of manners was, in truth, a reflection on the unspoken tensions woven into American life.
The episode begins with Bill carrying an unconscious Peggy out of the Hill house. He begins to give her mouth-to-mouth resuscitation, but she slaps the taste of nachos out his mouth. He runs back in to get Hank while Lady Bird drags Bobby out. Once Hank gains consciousness, Bill explains that he smelled gas coming from the house and the paramedics have been called. Apparently, Hank incorrectly installed a new water heater and nearly ended everyone's life, so Peggy called a repairman to check it out the next day. I guess Hank wasn't done trying to unalive his family because he really wanted another chance to fix the water heater. Peggy's like, nah man, he already on his way, and I'm not trying to wake up having Bill all up in my mouth no more.
The next day, Peggy hires Mac, a black repairman voiced by Bernie Mac, to fix the damage. Mac is capable but blunt, quickly pointing out Hank's amateur mistake. Then, without warning, Hank's gentle dog, Ladybird, lunges at him. Hank is stunned, swearing on his 20 years of propane sales that neither he nor his dog is racist. Hank spirals into desperation. He tries everything: obedience training, scented sprays to mask prejudice, even forcing Ladybird to watch hip-hop videos quoting Bobby for help with Puffy and Diddy and Snoopy. Hank and his family roleplay with dolls of different races trying to model racial harmony, but the harder Hank tries to prove he's not racist, the more desperate and suspicious he seems. Finally, the truth snaps into place. When a white repairman shows up, Ladybird attacks him too. It was never about race, she just hates repairmen. Relieved, Hank brings Ladybird to Mac's home and explains with quiet clarity she just doesn't like people in overalls. What began as a social panic dissolves into laughter and understanding, a subtle reminder that sometimes the need to appear good can cloud the truth. On the surface, Racist Dawg plays as a comedy of misunderstanding, but underneath, it's a sharp reflection on race, identity, and white conscience. The episode cleverly explores how racism isn't always overt. Hank insists he's a good, normal person, and when Ladybird first attacks Mac, he's quick to deny any prejudice. I do not condone racism. But as the episode unfolds, it becomes clear that what's being challenged isn't just his dog's behavior, it's Hank's own unexamined assumptions. Scholar Joshua Hardy points out that the dog trainer's line, "Dogs pick up on their owner's feelings," suggests Hank himself may carry unconscious bias, even as he tries to prove otherwise. King of the Hill doesn't portray Hank as malicious. Instead, he's caught in the discomfort of having his whiteness named. His frantic efforts to train Ladybird, take online anti-racism quizzes, and play hip-hop videos aren't about helping Mac, they're about protecting his own image. This is what critics call the white guilt paradox. Well-meaning white people working harder to appear non-racist than to actually confront prejudice. Peggy's line, "It makes us look like ignorant rednecks," exposes how much of their concern is performative. Hank isn't trying to understand Mac's experience, he's trying to clear his own name. Yet the episode doesn't mock the seriousness of racial dynamics. It gently nods to a darker history. In Romain Gary's White Dog, a canine trained to attack black people becomes a haunting symbol of inherited hate, a parallel that casts ironic weight on Ladybird's false accusation. In American history, dogs were once literal tools of racial violence. That legacy lingers in the background, giving the comedy unexpected depth. Racist Dawg fits into a larger tradition of animated satire, from The Simpsons to Boondocks, that pokes at America's racial taboos. The humor lands not because it trivializes racism, but because it exposes the awkwardness and ego behind performative allyship. Hank's efforts to prove he's not racist end up reinforcing the very structures he's trying to deny. In the end, King of the Hill doesn't offer a grand solution, it offers humility. Sometimes the simplest truth is that not every social misstep is a sign of deep corruption, but it also reminds us when we care more about being seen as good than doing what's right, we risk turning reflection into performance. When it first aired, Racist Dawg didn't stir much controversy, but over time, it's come to be seen as one of King of the Hill's most thoughtful and quietly daring episodes. The episode's strength lies in how it approaches racism not with mockery, but with empathy and discomfort. Critics and scholars have since used the episode to explore how race is handled in media. One essay notes that the Hills care more about defending themselves to their white neighbors than understanding Mac's hurt, a reaction that reflects a broader truth. For many, the fear of appearing racist often outweighs the desire to do right by others. The episode touches on deeper themes that resonate even more today. Hank's story echoes academic theories on whiteness, how it often goes unexamined until it feels threatened. His performative gestures, from online quizzes to awkward public apologies, mirror today's anxieties around virtue signaling and social media optics. The episode's twist that Lady Bird just hates repairmen feels almost absurd, but it lands with purpose. Prejudice is often a projection, shaped more by fear and performance than truth, and sometimes the need to look good can get in the way of simply being better. The episode holds up because it doesn't shout, it reflects. It asks viewers to laugh, then think, and maybe to ask where their own blind spots lie. Its legacy isn't about shock value, it's about quietly challenging us to look inward first.